Hi, I'm Brittany Kuhlman. We're going to be talking about helping students realize their learning norms today, specifically the 10 expectations that are going to keep our students engaged. First is relationships. So, do we as teachers actually know our students individually, or are they more just another student in the classroom? It's very important that they are developing relationships with not only our teachers, but they need to be finding mentors, developing relationships with their parents, as well as community members. Next is relevance. Is our student learning translating into a real world situation, or why do they actually need to know the material? We need to make sure that we are conveying that to the students so that they take some ownership into their assignments and their learning. Next is time. So, what is our timeline for the learning? Can we learn at our own pace, or is there a specific deadline for each thing? Four is timing. Um, are all of our students needing to learn in the same sequence, taking the same pathway, step by step, or can they learn in their own way and explore the material on their own? So, an example would be with math, there's always steps to work it the problem correctly, but can they maybe work backwards and solve the problem? Next is play. Do I need to know the material and then do we need to just move on to the next thing? Or can I explore that material and truly learn from it? Can I practice and make mistakes? Again, next thing is practice. So, are we learning and moving on to that next skill? Or can we practice the skills that were just learned? So, for example, I just taught how to take blood pressure in my classroom. We practiced how to do it. But are we gonna move on to a completely different topic tomorrow? No, we're going to practice blood pressure again. Next is their choice. So are all students gonna follow the same path, or can they choose what you want to learn and how you're going to learn it? Um, I think in our high school with the academies, that kind of gives them a choice. They are choosing kind of a career pathway, um, of what they're interested in. 8, authenticity. Are they going through the motions with their work or is it significant and essential? We need to make sure that they know that we're not just writing good job on every single person's assignment, that we are giving good feedback and making it personal to them. Next is challenge. Are we challenging our students enough or are they just completing for a grade? Kind of plays a role with SPED, gifted, our normal students, but we need to make sure that we are appropriately challenging each student in the classroom. And then last is application. Can I apply this learning to the real world? So again, um, teaching blood pressure, not every student's going to need to know how to take blood pressure, but eventually you might go to the doctor and they're going to take your blood pressure. So it's beneficial to know what those numbers mean and if you're at risk for heart disease. This assignment related to the standard by allowing me to see what norms students need to be able to learn and then cultivating that into this presentation to help others understand how students learn, as well as promoting the current and future success of my students and staff by teaching each of them the norms so they understand how themselves learn as well as their students learn. This assignment is relevant to my learning because it helps me understand the norms that my students should have to learn and how I can adapt my lessons or my projects to be more student based so they can be meaningful and that they are actually enjoying their material. And then lastly, for the reflection, I believe that these norms are important to teach not only to students but also to staff. It helps everyone understand how our students are learning, and each staff member, again, can take their lessons, manipulate them to be more meaningful to each student. Again, with me teaching health and healthcare, it's kind of easy to adapt to more meaningful lessons, even if someone isn't necessarily interested in healthcare, just because eventually, like I said, everyone's going to need to go to the doctor. And it'd be nice to have a general understanding of medical information. So, not all of our students, though, understand that that could be beneficial. So, it is important that we are teaching these norms because they will come in handy when they are not understanding the benefits of their material that they're learning. And then there's my reference.